Hey, welcome back. This is Doug Gabbard, practicing photography. Hopefully you're enjoying this series. I'll put a link down below for my affiliate link, and I'll put a picture right somewhere in here that shows you what option to pick to choose the $9.99 option to get Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop. It's the cheapest one. There are other options. There's one for $19.99, but that gives you storage space up in Adobe. And if you're just starting, you really don't need that. There are other storage options I'll cover someday. But let's dive right in. Today's video, the purpose is to get a Lightroom catalog set up and to start importing photos. I'm going to use an old photo shoot from 2020 in January, and it was of some penguins at the zoo. They do a penguin walk, and I enjoyed that. So I'll share that, show you how I import them.
Have you subscribed yet?
All right, I've got Lightroom open down here, and I am going to create a new catalog, and we're going to call this catalog Practicing Photography. On my regular catalog, I just call it photos, is what I call it. We're going to store this in my pictures folder. That's fine. So we'll put that there. And that's where your catalog is going to be stored. That's where we're going to have information about, your photos. It's not going to be the storage of your photos. So for that, I have created a folder already on my desktop called Practicing Photography. So here's my Practicing Photography. It's on my desktop. First thing I want to do is I want to create a new folder. I'm going to call it 2024. If you watch my previous videos, I like to organize mine by year, month, and activity. In this case, I actually did this in 2020, what you'll see here in a moment, but let's create let's open this folder and create a new folder. And we're going to call this one January. And inside that folder, I'm going to create a folder called Penguins. I went to the zoo and it was a penguin walk. So that's where I'm going to import my photos. You can create these folders inside Lightroom. I like to create them outside. Sometimes I do it inside. It's your pick. But when we import them, that's where they're going to land. I have a hard drive connected. Normally, you're going to be importing these from an SD card. But either way, the process is the same. So if I click on import, and you'll see I do have an SD card in there, but it's not the one I'm going to pull from. I'm going to pull from where I have all my photos stored. And I'm going to drive into photos all the way down to 2020. Like I said, I did this in January of 2020. Find my January folder and find my penguins. Here's my penguins folder. So I want my raw photos. So I'm going to import all of these penguin photos. And actually, there's a squirrel in there too, but I have a bunch of photos here that I did on a photo walk, and these are my raw images. So we are in the import dialog box. It doesn't look like it because it's taken full screen. A couple things you want to pay attention when you import. I don't want to do move because it'll move them from that hard drive to the other one, and I really don't want to do that. So I'm going to copy those photos, and I recommend you do the same, is copy from your SD card, and don't format your SD card until it's full, or you need extra space on the next photo shoot. So leave that as copy. We're going to cover a few of the items over here. So I like to rename all my files. So if you notice, these file names are not very friendly. Just some random number, it looks like. It's not CR2, which is the raw image for my Canon camera. So I'm just going to call this penguins. So this will rename every photo as it comes in, penguins, and we'll also have the photo number for it. If I click this, you can see I can keep the file name, the date, and the file name. You can do quite a few different options of what you want that custom setting to be. So let's pick file name. Nope, let's go back to custom setting and leave it on penguins for now. Leave the extension as it is. Now you got to pay attention down here where you're going to put it. These are going to be the name of the folder that's going to create. It's going to create the folder for me. This is one folder that I did not pre-create. So I took this with probably my 5D Mark IV. So I'll call this 5D. 5D is my Canon 5D Mark IV. R5 would be my R5, and my drone would be M3 from a Mavic 3. Name them however you want and put whether it's RAW or JPEG. Now what I want to do is I am going to import them to a location, in this case, my hard drive. And if you remember correctly, I created off my desktop. Let's hide this hard drive down here altogether. And see if I can find my desktop. Go to users, my name here. Here's desktop. I really got this buried. And sorry for that. Here's practicing photography. Here's 2024. And then here's January. And I want to put them in penguins. Now you'll notice it put this 5D raw right here. That's the same thing I put here in the 5D raw up here. So it's going to create that folder and it's going to import all the ones with check marks on it. If you have additional photos, you want to make sure you uncheck the photos you don't want. The normal shift and click from beginning to end still works. You can control click on each photo that you want to get. In this case, I'm going to import all of them. So once I get done with that, I click import, and that will import all those photos and just make a copy. And we do not want address lookup, at least I don't. And there's also an option to do facial lookup. I recommend not doing that. It just filled up my disk and took forever, and it took forever to undo. So I recommend you don't do either one of those. So now if I look here, I can see my raw images. I've got 51 images here, and they are ready to be worked on. If you remember from my previous video, I've got up here library, develop, map, and print. I am in the library mode. Different views you can have here are which you see here on a full screen. If I click on this, you can get the thumbnail. You have a slider over here to change the size of your thumbnails. Pick a size that's good for you for viewing, at whatever you like. Because what you're going to eventually do is you're going to go through these rather quickly to what we call calling images.